How do you rig a Highline start to finish? Check it out on this episode of How Not to Highline. Hi, I'm Ryan Jinks and welcome to my garage. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to show you how we rigged, start to finish, our last Highline. We've had several requests to see the big picture of highlining rather than all the excruciating detail that we normally do. So you're going to see things in here that we've gone over and some things that we haven't. My fiance Kim Weglin just became a Slack Life BC athlete, and in case you haven't noticed, I steal all of her hats. So Slack Life BC sent us almost 200 meters of their new Lion webbing. This is their high-tech webbing that breaks at 35 kilonewtons or 8,000 pounds and only weighs 35 grams per meter, which is extremely light, and it is a low stretch webbing, which is 1 to 4% stretch. It's got all the great properties Moonwalk has, except it's not slippery at all. We were excited when we saw sunny weather, and just because Yosemite had the worst storm in 20 years, how bad could the snow be? We decided to rig the Rostrum 195-footer, or the 60-meter, called the Flight of the Falcons. This is one of Yosemite's best winter highlines because the hike isn't far and you don't really have to climb anything. So here's our trip, rigging the Flight of the Falcons, start to finish. Good morning! Good morning! Is it early?
It's really early. I'm already on camera.
So last night we thought it'd be a good idea to do a time lapse of us driving Yosemite, but it's dark. Woo! Are you stoked?
I'm stoked for your mom.
Oh my god.
I want all those headlamps, carabiners.
Oh shit.
Dude, you gotta feel how heavy this Lion is. It's super light. The bag weighs more. Holy, what? It's 200 meters. Okay, got all my stuff with the static side, all the gear for it. Throw it in the bag, and then we're gonna walk over there and throw a fishing line.
Woo woo! Oh no! So I rappelled off of that. So I'm tied in. I have a knot backing up my gree-gree. And I threw 2-ounce lead weight over to the other side. And it pretty much lands perfectly where they're all hanging out. And they're ready for me to reel. And then I pull in the tag line.
Ryan's reeling it in with the fishing pole up there. Woo!
Rappel is set up. Dug out our bolts. Backed up to the tree. We came down on the tree so we were safe. And gree with the prusik. I have the tag line on me, so when I rappel, I can pull the line over. So I just cleared off for the last hour with my handy dandy axe all this ice, so it doesn't fall, and slice our line on a side that we can't inspect until we get on. So finally get to rappel, and then I get to go back over and get a drink of water. Let's just bring it almost to where we want it. Under, over, under. This is the tricky one.
Under, over. Under, over.
All right, we're good, guys. So now we whoopee the shit out of this. Okay. Okay. All right. So this right here is pretty awesome. I will take a spare beaner and I will put the tagline in here. And what's really cool about this is it keeps the yellow tagline nice and neat, because see that bush down there? I got it stuck in there before and I really sucked. My protraction does hold. Dun dun dun. My 6mm tagline. Fuck yeah, folks. Okay, I'm gonna pull this line over and then I'm gonna clip it to my master point. I use just the beaner here just to keep it all, you know, so I know what's what. So, anywho, make sure it doesn't rub your daisy because it can nylon saw that. Of course, I'm clipped into more than one thing, but you know, you don't want to cut things that hold you. Bad habits. Bad habits. Okay. Yeah. It's nice to have the tagline thing hold all this so I could do this. Woo! And then that's my bundle right there, right? So then I just want to clip that to my main things here. And of course my top line is going to be my shorter web lock. So that's good. Since I have that all bundled nicely, this is kind of nice to clip off to the side. That's not very long. I'll just clip to, let's clip to this.
I did not clip anything to the aluminum carabiner. Instead, it was just to hold all of that webbing and the whoopee slings together so I knew what my master point was. Then I fastened my 2 web locks to that master point with my 2 different length soft shackles. When I was done with that, I tied a Super 8 into my webbing and clipped 2 different tails of it into 2 different bolts to back up my web locks. And I attached a rope that I rappelled on to my backups just for extra safety. Let me take a second to explain a complication I had on my side that I didn't get any footage of before we go over to what Garrison was doing. After Garrison pre-tensioned a little, pulling the webbing through the web lock a bit, I noticed that one of my whoopee slings was holding some of the weight. So that means when he tightened it, it would have been holding all of the weight. Since that's not a good thing, I ended up pulling some of the slack out of it and extending my whoopee out to make sure there was no tension on my whoopies until after he was done tightening the line. Because you want the static rope to hold all of the weight of your slack line because it pulls on all 4 bolts evenly. The whoopies are just there as a backup. So now I'm going to narrate what Garrison did on his side. Garrison pre-tensions the line by pulling in all the slack that he can by hand. Then Garrison pulls in the backup webbing, finds flat, and then puts it inside of a web lock. Then Garrison puts on the tension system that we use, which just happens to be a line grip and a hangover. Then he checks all the whoopies to make sure that none of them are holding the weight before he tensions the line, and finds that he had the same problem as I did. His solution to that was to retie the fisherman's knot on the static rope because the web locks were already pretty far out. Then after Garrison tensions the line, he put our haul bag underneath the anchor as padding so nothing would rub against the rock. And then after he triple checked everything and I triple checked everything, I start to slide over. In a perfect world, it would be nice to be able to check both sides before getting on the line, but in this case, it wasn't practical.
Is there a twist in it?
2 of them. Damn it.
Really?
Oh well, we'll figure it out.
2 half twists.
This rope has lost tension
Very
throughout the day.
I am
Here, I'll take it.
Careful with that.
Babe, you're supposed to film me when I'm smiling and kicking ass.
You said film
Not when
everything.
I'm bonking.
You said film everything.
This is how I psych up to Highline.
I don't like being filmed.
Makes me want to do it more.
Oh, just walked off like a motherfucker.
That was like a minute 50.
Woo! Lion walking lion. Don't do it, don't do it. Can you make him a little smaller?
We
Oh, yeah! Yes! Target! I got you! Right.
Oh, right in there. Look at that short pocket.
Yes!
And he's all lifted up in the line too. Damn. This is backcountry!
Okay, what Marco did was pretty funny, but if you kick a snowman off the cliff, you should be clipped in. So now here is part of a time lapse of us de-rigging. We start by Garrison detensioning with the quick release, taking the pressure off the web locks on my side. And once I get the webbing off the master point, I clip that Super 8 to my tagline and send the webbing back over to Garrison. After they pull all that across, they get to the tagline and then pull the tagline over, and then before I let it go, I make sure there's no knot in the end. So they finish flaking a tagline into the bag, and I finish grabbing the anchor on my side, jug the rope, and meet them at the car. So that was the gist of us rigging this last Highline. Let us know in the comments below what you want in future case study videos. We can make it with less of a storyline and more information, because we could have gone more in depth on this video, but we're trying to keep it interesting. And instead of going over all the little details, in this episode we were trying to go over for the big picture, so let us know what you think. Being cooped up in the winter too long can cause you to be antsy, which can cause you to rig Highlines in unsafe conditions. Therefore, you shouldn't Highline. Hey, thanks for watching, but please don't be a dummy and go rig your first Highline after watching a guy in his garage show you how to do it. Instead, please go with somebody that knows what they're doing the first time you go out. But in the meantime, check out these other videos and don't forget to subscribe.